I think a lot of times when you hear the word resolution, it's tied to New Year's and people changing because the calendar year did, and they're motivated to be a little bit different and a little bit better. So it's weird now that here in a pandemic, I'm also thinking about resolutions, but man, they are just not really tied to the excitement and the joy of a new year, But here we go. Things that this unexpected experience of COVID-19 have taught me and maybe even inspired me to improve upon. And the first thing is to act as if every interaction and experience is the last time you're going to get the opportunity. I feel like we had a real life simulation of this going into quarantine, going into isolation. We now have an idea of what it's like to think back about the last time you saw a parent or a sibling or a child or a best friend, and then had to go a large time and maybe still not even able to see them. So you greatly remember all of a sudden that last time you saw somebody that you really cared about, that you had normally been seeing, and you had really no clue that this was coming, that they would physically disappear from your life so fast. You probably also remember intimately the last time you went out with friends, you had a good time, you entertained yourself as normal. But again, in those moments, you had no idea that they would be the last time for potentially a very long time. So, yeah, resolutions. I'm giving you 3 here. Number 1 is to, for me, act as if every interaction and experience could be the last time. Don't take them for granted. I think in looking forward and hoping for the future, that's going to be something different for all of us. Number 2, a resolution out of all this is hoping to find a way to manage stress better. I would say right now that personal anxiety is through the roof. There are obvious reasons, things that you're probably dealing with too. Yeah, the pandemic, social justice issues, our economy going to crap. There's a lot of worries for the typical adults in trying to make this world right and trying to make this world a better place. There's also things that all of us deal with that are personal too and unique individually, but I'll save those for now. These are unprecedented times for mental health. And I feel like individually, I was already somebody who was dialed up pretty high in a lot of ways. And yeah, none of this eases that anymore. In fact, it only complicates it. And I have learned to live at a little bit of a different pace because I've had to during all this, been forced to during all this. So hopefully when some normal routines begin to emerge again, in terms of a resolution, I can manage life better. When it gets busy again, and when it gets good again, I use the air quotes there, I'll be able to manage it better. And then last but not least here, in terms of COVID-19 resolutions, if that's what I'm calling this, I got to get to work on the bucket list. I really do. And that's weird coming from somebody who is now 39 years old. And maybe that's the almost 40-year-old in me finally getting to my midlife crisis. But I've realized that we're going to have a down year, 12 months, maybe 18 months, maybe more. I don't know at this point how long our lives are going to be so limited and so restricted, as they should be, as they have to be. But what am I waiting for on a lot of things once I have the opportunity? I feel like prior to all this, you put something off. You'll do it in 5 years. No worries. Next month, next week, whatever. COVID, like I said, is going to take away a certain period of opportunity and time in our lives. And it just makes you realize that time is always ticking. And what am I talking about, like the bucket list? They don't have to be elaborate, extravagant things. You could learn a new language, play an instrument for the first time, gain a new skill that you've always wanted to. Just be a better person in a lot of different ways. Expand your horizons. And again, even if I'm talking here about a bucket list and you're younger, you're in your 20s, and maybe that doesn't make sense to you or you can't relate to that yet, trust me, first off, you're going to go from 25 to 39 really fast. I promise. But even if you're 25, why not start to figure out some of the big things in life? You saw how fast we all went from normal to zero. And now we're just trying to get back on our feet again. So mortality is being realized in a time where across the world we're dealing with a pandemic, but in our own country, hundreds of thousands of people are dying. And I'm not here to just take it to the ultimatum, but if that's not in the back of your mind, as well as being limited right now in the present, I don't know how much more motivation I could give you to do things while you can, to do things while you're healthy. So there you go. 3 resolutions, not New Year's resolutions. Well, maybe they could be New Year's resolutions of 2021 and beyond, but resolutions of coronavirus that I definitely didn't see coming, and hopefully I can execute on.